Okay, so, for a lot of people, the thought of being their own boss, that's the dream, right?
It is.
But going it completely alone, that can feel pretty daunting.
Yeah, that's a big leap for sure.
And that's where franchising kind of steps in. It offers that sort of best of both worlds scenario.
That's a good way to put it. You're stepping into a system that's already established, but you still have that control at the local level.
Right. You're not building everything from scratch.
Exactly.
But like any major decision, and this is a major decision, the financial side of things can't be ignored.
Oh, absolutely. It's
Yeah.
absolutely critical.
Yeah.
Understanding the costs, both upfront and ongoing, and how you're going to actually fund those is make or break.
And that's exactly what we're diving into today with your fantastic guide on franchise financing.
Thanks.
Really, our mission here is to break down these sometimes pretty complex concepts so you, the listener, can feel confident navigating the financial side of franchising.
I think that's so important because the opportunities within franchising, they're so diverse.
Right.
It's not just one type of business.
Yeah. When you think franchise, the first thing that pops into my head is fast food.
Sure, McDonald's, Subway. Those are classic examples.
But it goes way beyond that, right?
Oh, way beyond. There's retail like 7-Eleven, all sorts of service businesses, you name it.
It's really remarkable how adaptable that model is.
It really is.
Yeah.
And because there's such a huge range of options out there, that's why getting a solid grasp on the financial side is so important.
That's where your guide comes in. It's packed with information, and we're going to distill it down to the essentials.
The need-to-know stuff.
So you can make smart, informed decisions about franchise financing.
Without feeling overwhelmed, exactly.
Our goal today is to really cover the A to Z of the financial aspects of owning a franchise.
From that initial investment to the different ways you can actually get the money, and then thinking long-term about the financial health of your business.
Okay, so let's start right at the beginning with those costs involved in getting a franchise up and running.
Right. Let's talk money.
It's not just a single price tag, right?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
It's multifaceted. There are layers.
Layers.
Okay. So usually the first thing you'll run into is the initial franchise fee.
Okay. The initial franchise fee.
This is essentially your entry ticket into the franchise system.
Your buy-in.
Exactly. You're paying for the right to use their brand, their trademarks, their whole proven system.
So it's kind of like you're paying for a shortcut in a way.
In a way, yes. You're leveraging someone else's already successful model. You're tapping into that brand recognition and the systems they've developed.
But you want to be sure you're getting real value for that fee, right?
Absolutely. It's not just about a logo. You want a solid system, comprehensive training, ongoing support, the whole package.
So what kind of numbers are we talking about here for this initial franchise fee?
You'll typically see a range from around $10,000 at the lower end to maybe $50,000.
$10,000 to $50,000. Okay.
But for those big name brands, the really well-established ones with a proven track record, that fee can easily climb above $100,000.
Wow. So we're talking serious investment here.
It is an investment for sure.
So for that chunk of change, what exactly is included?
Well, that fee usually covers a few key things. Immediate brand recognition, which can be huge. You're not starting from scratch, building awareness.
You're hitting the ground running.
Right.
Yeah.
Then you're getting that proven business model, their operations, their marketing, all of that.
So you're not reinventing the wheel.
Not at all.
Yeah.
And of course, there's training, initial and often ongoing support, access to their proprietary information, trade secrets if they have them, and usually the right to operate in a specific geographic area.
Okay, so you're buying into a whole system.
Yes, a whole system, a framework for success.
And are there different ways these initial fees are structured?
Yeah, there can be. Some franchisors use a flat fee no matter what,
Okay.
while others have a sliding scale based on things like the size of your territory or your projected sales volume.
Interesting.
You also want to ask about payment terms, like is financing an option for this fee or other installments?
Right, because that initial lump sum can be substantial.
It can be. And super important, compare what's included in the fee from one franchise to another.
Especially if you're looking at similar types of businesses.
Exactly. You want to make sure you're getting the best value for your investment.
Okay, so that's the initial hurdle, the franchise fee itself.
Right, the price of admission.
But then there are all the costs to actually set up shop, the startup costs.
That's right, getting your location ready to open its doors.
And those can really vary depending on the type of franchise.
Oh, for sure. A food truck is going to have very different startup costs than, say, a sit-down restaurant.
So what are some of the typical startup expenses we might see?
Well, first you got to secure your location,
Right, finding a spot.
whether that's leasing or buying property, and then any construction build-out renovations that need to happen to meet the franchisor's standards.
So getting the space up to code and on brand.
Exactly. Then there's all the equipment, furniture, fixtures you'll need,
Ovens, refrigerators, cash registers, the works.
depending on the business, of course. And then your initial inventory.
Stocking the
And
shelves.
don't forget insurance. You'll need various types of coverage.
Liability, property, all of that.
Right. And licenses and permits to operate legally, those vary by location and industry.
So making sure you're compliant with all the regulations.
Absolutely. You might also have professional fees for lawyers and accountants to help with the setup.
Making sure everything is structured properly from a legal and financial standpoint.
Exactly. Then there's training expenses for you and your staff.
Learning the ropes of the business.
Right. And that might include travel and accommodation if the training isn't local.
So those costs can add up quickly.
They can. Then there's marketing leading up to your opening and the grand opening itself. All that to generate buzz and get customers in the door.
Creating that initial excitement.
And a really critical one that often gets underestimated is working capital.
Oh, working capital. What is that exactly?
That's the money you need to keep the business running in those first few months before the revenue really starts flowing steadily.
It's like your financial cushion.
Yeah, exactly. It covers your day-to-day operating expenses,
Okay.
rent, utilities, payroll.
So you can stay afloat while you're building up your customer base.
Exactly. And, experienced franchisees, they'll often advise having at least 6 months of operating expenses saved up in reserve.
Wow, 6 months.
Underestimating working capital.
Yeah.
That's a major reason why some franchises fail early on.
It's like that financial runway you need to get off the ground.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
Now, the FDD, the Franchise Disclosure Document, it will give you estimated ranges for these startup costs.
But it's just an estimate, right?
Yeah, it's a starting point. The actual figures can be higher or lower depending on your specific situation.
Your location, the lease terms, all of that.
Exactly. And keep in mind, real estate and construction, those often represent the biggest chunk of those startup costs.
So it's important to factor those in carefully.
For sure. Okay, so we've talked about the initial franchise fee, the startup cost to get operational, but the financial relationship with the franchisor that continues, doesn't it?
You mean beyond the initial investment?
Yes, there are ongoing fees and royalties to consider.
Okay, royalties. Let's break those down.
These are regular payments you make to the franchisor as a percentage of your gross sales.
So you're essentially sharing a portion of your revenue with them.
That's right. It's like an ongoing fee for the right to use their brand and system.
And what's a typical percentage range for royalties?
You'll usually see between 4% and 8% of your gross sales.
4% to 8%, so that's a significant chunk.
It is. And you need to factor that into your profitability calculations.
Absolutely. So if you're looking at a business with tight margins, those royalties could really eat into your profits.
Exactly. That's why understanding those ongoing costs is so important when you're evaluating a franchise opportunity.
You need to see the whole picture.
The whole picture.
So are royalties the only ongoing fee we need to think about?
Not necessarily. There are often other recurring fees as well.
Can you give us some examples?
Many franchisors have a marketing or advertising fee.
To promote the brand as a whole.
Exactly. And that's usually a percentage of your sales too, maybe
Yeah.
1% to 3%.
So those funds go towards national or regional campaigns?
Right. And then there might be technology fees for using their software systems.
Point of sale systems, online ordering, that sort of thing?
Yeah. And ongoing training fees to keep you and your staff up to date.
Making sure everyone's on the same page.
Right. And potentially supply chain fees if you have to buy inventory through their approved vendors.
To maintain quality and consistency.
Exactly. And then down the line, there can be renewal fees when your franchise agreement expires.
So you're essentially paying to continue operating under that brand,
Right. So all those percentages and fees, they can really add up over time.
impacting your bottom line.
Definitely.
Okay.
For example, let's say your royalty is 6% and your marketing fee is 2%.
Okay.
That's 8% of your gross sales right off the bat, before you even factor in any other expenses or your own profit.
So it's important to be aware of those costs from the get-go.
Absolutely. It's all part of calculating your true profitability and cash flow.
Okay, so when we add up all these financial obligations, the initial franchise fee, the startup costs these ongoing fees, what do we get?
That gives us the total investment range.
The total investment range.
Okay. And that represents all the costs you could expect in that initial phase.
From planning to that first year or so of operation.
Right. And that range can be really broad depending on the franchise.
Yeah, I imagine a home-based business is going to be a lot less than a restaurant.
Exactly. For something home-based or mobile, you might be looking at $10,000 to $50,000 total.
Okay.
But for a brick-and-mortar location like a restaurant or a retail store, that could easily be $500,000 to $1 million or even more.
Wow, so there's a huge spectrum.
A huge spectrum.
And what's usually included in that total investment figure?
Well, it covers that initial franchise fee, the real estate costs, whether you're leasing or buying all the construction and remodeling expenses, the equipment, and your initial inventory,
Okay.
signage and decor, your pre-opening marketing and grand opening expenses, that working capital we talked about.
To keep you afloat.
Right. Your initial and ongoing training costs, legal and accounting fees, and your initial insurance premiums.
So it's a really comprehensive figure.
It is. And the FDD will give you a low and high end for that total investment range. But again, remember, it's an estimate. Your actual costs might vary.
Right. Location plays a big role in that.
It does. And the key takeaway here is that having enough working capital to get you to profitability, that's absolutely crucial.
That's your lifeline in those early months.
It is.
Okay, so now we have a good understanding of the costs involved in franchising.